morning, Baltimore School for the Arts. Great. My name is Karlette Fuchs. I am a licensed school counselor specializing in college access, meaning a college and career counselor. Yes, I am that person. So I work with families and students all of the time, right where many of you as juniors and seniors are. And for many of you as ninth graders coming into the school, you started to have that kind of conversation about college and where am I going and getting angsted out. I have found my career path, my life's work, doing just that, helping you through this process. I am currently the college counselor and the director of post-secondary readiness at a secondary school in Brooklyn called Brooklyn Collaborative, where that school specializes in experiential learning and the collaborative process. And where else did I start my education and my career in learning how to collaborate? Right here. I oversee an advisory system and the college process for a school that serves approximately 400 students, grades 9 through 12, and approximately 50 educators, a team of 5 interns, and various electronic platforms and tools that you guys are very familiar with that help to facilitate the college process. I began my career here once again at BSA. Let me just make sure I get through this, sorry. I am an alum of Tisch School for the Arts as a dance major, theater department, and then I later went on to pursue the rest of my education as in counseling at Alfred University. How did I get there? Well, it was not a straight path, as many of our alum have explained to you, and I know that you've heard from many of the educators here. It's never a straight path, and folks, you are the sum of your experiences. First, even as a student at Tisch School for the Arts and a dance major, I really loved the passion and the work that I did within the theater and within the studio and dance, but I kind of started to feel that there was another place for me in life and another passion that I wanted to fulfill at the same time. And while I figured that out, I was fortunate enough to grab a job description off of the employment board at NYU. I answered an ad to be a reservationist at a very famous, which is now closed, restaurant called Chanterelle. I walked in, I interviewed with Karen and David Waltuck, who were very well-known restaurateurs at that time, and they hired me on the spot with my dance bag on my shoulder, in leg warmers, right? And said, there is a place here for you. When I took that job, or when I was offered that job at Chanterelle, I had no idea that I would then be surrounded to and have access to another artistic community extension of that. I was surrounded by works of people like Marcel Marceau, Ellsworth Kelly, Keith Haring, Robert Mapplethorpe. I had access to people and working in that restaurant with Bill T. Jones and Arnie Zane. You name it. Those were the clientele and the people that I started to network with as a dancer, taking part in the restaurant industry. I later went on to pursue my education because of my life choices and the things that were happening in my life with my family. Once I was done, or I was working in the restaurant industry, once again, where I work with people like Karen and David Waltuck, Robert Mapplethorpe, I got a chance to interact with those kinds of people. I also had relationships and job opportunities with celebrity chefs like Rocco DiSpirito. I then said to myself, okay, there must be more for me than this. In the pursuit of exploring education for my daughter and my family circumstances, I started to develop an interest in education. And in that education, sorry, I'm kind of losing my way. I discovered that I wanted to be a part of an active and viable environment where I was able to educate students and their families, and where I was able to bring together not only my interest in the arts, but also my interest in education. My professional career path. forgive me, began with my first job appointment as a counselor at LaGuardia Arts, where I was the director of the college office. I then found a position at Columbia Secondary School for Math, Science, and Engineering, which is where I was straightforward a college counselor. I also worked for another organization, which was a community-based organization at the same time. Now, what does a college advisor do? A college advisor, we inform. I inform students and families on the college process. I support students and families in building an appropriate college list, college application process, the financial aid process, scholarship and enrichment programs, standardized testing, college access, which is preparing you for college, and then in addition, other post-secondary opportunities like gap years and military service. So all of those things very much are the nuts and bolts of the college process. But the foundation of that is the counseling component. And that's where, as an educator, I then address your family dynamics. I then address who are you as a student and your identity, and how do you bring those worlds together. I sit with students and their families to talk about, like, who are you? Not to compare. How do we help you get there and bring all of those pieces together? That is one of the core foundations and one of the things that college counselors do. That's the counseling component. It is the tool with which we use in order to help you and your families through this process. I collaborate. I collaborate and consult with a whole host of institutions from NYU to Carnegie Mellon, all sorts of schools within higher ed. I work with community-based organizations, not-for-profit organizations, and also the private sector. I've also had the experience of being appointed to the New York State panel, which then presented probably at the last White House convening with regard to higher education with Michelle Obama in Washington just last year. Thank you. Along with a whole host of things, so that networking and our ability in order to work with people becomes very important, and that's one of the things that you learn here at Baltimore School for the Arts. Life is a process, folks. It is a journey. It is not a race. And what I've come to understand is that the skills, the people skills and networking that I gained here at Baltimore School for the Arts, along with an excellent education in liberal arts, marketable skills, the ability to collaborate, along with my diverse experiences, has been the bedrock and the foundation of my career path as an educator, as a college counselor. Sorry, you get through this. Thank you. That is where my life began, here at Baltimore School for the Arts, in the studio with Norma Pera, Sylvester Campbell as a dancer. And here's where I am now, as a family person, as an educator. You met my husband, Dorian Fuchs, which began here at Baltimore School for the Arts. Yes. And then our daughter, who also is a vocal major, who is about to graduate from McGill. So once again, my career's work, my life, my family, my Baltimore School for the Arts family, is now a part of my current family and extension, and one that I'm incredibly grateful for, and that I hope, as I say to you, you are the sum of your experiences, that you too have the same.